everyone, it's Justin here, and it's finally time to give you a tour of my tech loft. This is a series that you guys have seen me talk about for the last few years, and it's a space that I've built that takes a lot of the elements that I really like about a condo loft and added all of the tech elements of a cozy living room space, bedroom, open concept design when it comes to the closet, a compact kitchen, and just more of a Scandinavian and Japandi look that I've always wanted to do. Throughout the years, you guys have seen me do videos of my personal properties as well as investment properties, and I feel like it is truly a canvas for myself to just be able to show all of the creative ideas that I'm always very interested in around real estate. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So before we give you a tour of the details, I just want to show you guys how it's laid out. This is the entrance, and as you make your way, there's the dining area, the kitchen right here, the bathroom, and then you have the stairs that lead up to the second level. You guys know I have a soft spot for lofts. I've done another series before, but last time I went more industrial, and this time I've gone more Japandi and Scandi. So beginning with the entrance right here, you can see this little corner has a lot of fundamental storage. It's where you put your coats, extra pillows, and I've sorted out to have some shelves and some hangers, but I've also hidden away the washing machine and dryer right there. Before, it was sort of like an slanted diagonal shape, and I felt like that cut off the flow as soon as you walk in. And so by matching it up with all of the millwork of the kitchen, the bathroom, and the closet, I think it looks really, really nice. Having a grab and go area at the front was also an essential for me. I wanted to have somewhere where you could have your keys, your phones, your wallet, and so when you're heading out the door, it just makes total sense. Over here, I've also added some Eames Globe skateboards. I've wanted to put these in a lot of places, and I picked it up when there was a retail drop, and I think it looks great in dividing the upper area with the lower area. Below that is a Nelson bench, which is just a place to put your bags down when you come into the house, but next to it is the dining table that is parallel. One thing that I did with the dining table setup was I've gone with a bench on one side and some chairs on the other side because of how close it is to the entrance. Oftentimes it might be easy to forget to push the chairs in or just felt like very busy. And so I feel like this is a good way to have a 3-zone setup where you have your kitchen and your bathroom on one side, which is naturally how the unit is laid out, the dining table in the middle, which breaks things up, and then the rest of the space is all for the living room, which is the star of the show in my opinion. So this right here is the living room, and I would say in this space, I really wanted to build it around the living room. It's sort of a common theme with all my properties that I want a place to be able to chill and hang out, and the versatility of the living room is you could be working on your computer, play on your phone, eat, and of course, watch TV and play video games. You guys know I absolutely love the Dieter-Rams Vitso 606 system. It's one that is very versatile. In my opinion, it's also very timeless. And so the way I have it designed is to take advantage of the height of the space, give you many display cases, and also the ability to dress up the shelves while also adding some depth to otherwise a very plain wall. You might notice by now I don't really have much art in a lot of places, but by creating texture through furniture, you're able to make a place feel a little bit more full, have some art displayed anyways, plants, artifacts, and props such as Lego sets, and of course, the center of it is the TV. I've talked about this TV in the past. It is the Sony Bravia 9, which is their flagship model for 2025, and I think it looks incredible. And below that is the Bang & Olufsen Theater. When I was planning out this space, I wanted it to have a central focus of just like a large display right here. And the way we were able to do that is by cutting the rails on the Vitso, leaving a gap in the middle, and then having all of the I/O units wired down below to the power outlet going through the wall, and then with that is the Bang & Olufsen Theater. This is a speaker that ties in with all of the wood tones of this place. A light oak finish with black accents, stainless steel that goes along with the same era of the Vitso shelves. And I mean, it's a look that I've done quite a few times, but this is definitely the largest shelf that I've purchased so far. As I mentioned though, the best part about this shelf is you can continue to change it as time evolves. I've thought about adding a table with a monitor here hanging out, or you can also use modular systems such as adding a proper dining table and have the option to change the storage depending on your needs. I also wanted to make the place feel bigger through the couch. This is the Sunday's get-together. It has a good balance of being a lounger, but also not too soft. And I mean, this white finish has stayed very durable, and whether you decide to sit in the ottoman or over here, it is cozy in the fact that it sort of surrounds the room and designates zones specifically that kind of break up this main floor. The coffee table, on the other hand, is from EQ3. It's low profile. It almost serves as like a footrest, or you can sit down and play board games. But I love the vertical slatting, the internal storage that you have, and again, the wood tones through a Japandi loft that has like Scandinavian Japandi tones to it, just kind of makes like a statement to have a coffee table like this. So now it's time to show you around the kitchen. I think what's unique about this place is that the kitchen is sort of tucked away, but you can see all of the main areas of the home from within the space. This is in Vancouver, and Vancouver's a place that has so much amazing food that is nearby the loft. And so cooking is not as much of a primary focus, but instead having something that is nice and convenient, but still very aesthetic is really what the priority is when it came to the design. So for this kitchen, I worked with KI Atelier and Aran Kitchens. I mean, all of these little details come together exactly the way that I would like. And I mean, the first draft that was done was pretty much exactly what I was thinking. I wanted a Japandi look that had clear divisions, clean lines, very minimal hardware, but at the same time blended stone in a way that was able to carry out throughout. And the stone in this kitchen is Deck Tontaga from Cosentino, which maintains the natural character of stone and has a premium shine and finish. And in the lowest point of the ceiling in the unit, still makes it feel nice and spacious. That is not only done through stone along the backsplash carrying all the way up, but also through the open concept shelf with LED lights that has been added to have all of my bowls, cups, and other decor items. And in a space like this, I do have a lot of storage for general cleaning and all that kind of stuff, but the amount of storage that I have for kitchen equipment is perfectly enough. Through going to the showroom and taking a look at all of the samples and seeing what little inserts can be added to all of the drawers, every single thing is customized exactly the way that you would like. The stainless inserts, the high quality hardware and sliding mechanisms. It really is a tier up from a traditional kitchen if you're looking to invest in something that is stylish, timeless, and can enhance your space significantly, whether it is a condo or a high-end home. So before we continue, I want to give a huge thanks to the sponsor of this video, Monday.com. As you guys know, I've been talking about this for a while and how I use it in my workflow to be able to track projects, be able to build ideas as well, and especially with the custom AI agents, I've been able to make tools that are curated towards my business and ensure the maximum productivity, but also alignment with how my team works. What makes the AI agents different is that it has a full business context, seeing across your projects, timelines, CRM, and tasks instead of being isolated to one single app. They don't just answer questions, they actually do the work by assigning tasks, updating statuses, generating reports, and routing approvals automatically. And if your business has a unique workflow, you can even build your own no-code AI agents within just a few minutes. A campaign manager, on the other hand, acts like a marketing co-pilot by analyzing campaign performance in real time, and it surfaces what's actually working and recommends ways to improve ROI without digging through all of the spreadsheets. So if you're looking to spend less time managing your workflow, going through manual analysis, and things that would usually take up a lot of time, but instead focus on the creative business, you should definitely check out Monday.com for yourself and also use their custom AI agents to add tools to your workflow, but also build custom no-code agents curated to your specific business. One of the most fun parts of a loft is choosing what to do under the stairs. And I think this is really where your personal preference does come into play. For some people, it might be a daybed. For others, it might be a reading nook. In this case, I was bouncing between a coffee bar that can sit right here and have some room for some of the countertop appliances because of the smaller kitchen. But at the same time, storage was something that I really wanted to maximize on. And so I ultimately decided to utilize all of the space underneath the stairs for not only general storage, but also walk-in storage. I have stuff like my router down here. And then beyond that, I also have the air conditioning unit. And then you can actually go into this closet right here behind it and store whatever you might need, such as a bike or a scooter, which is a very common thing in a big city. So before I take you guys upstairs, this is a look at the stairs themselves. And there's one thing that I'm very excited about, and that is the BioSound shaped speaker. You guys might have seen me do a video talking about that in depth. But what's so unique is that whenever there is music playing, people always wonder where it's coming from in particular, and I also often have it synced to my theater soundbar as well. I'm personally someone who struggles to find art that I actually like. And so by investing in tech products that are able to serve that dual purpose, as someone who likes speakers, likes hi-fi equipment, I feel like it is a good compromise that gives you both a functional element, but also a pretty stylish design that has been designed in a way and configured to go along with the exact same slope of the stairs. It fills this white wall very nicely. And in addition to that, some of the other areas of detail on the stairs is that I wanted to carry the flooring throughout the entire unit. It is a unit that is about 900 square feet. And so the difference in price between lower end flooring and very nice flooring was not as significant relative to the cost of the entire project. And so I wanted to go with quality floors from Kentwood. These are white oak, real hardwood floors that have been engineered, and I mean, the way they've done it up the stairs, I think is a very important touch. Below the stairs, I've also added LEDs, which is something that I'm still kind of debating whether or not it is worth the cost. LED lights in essence are cheap, but the installation and labor can often be expensive. But again, in a small space, you either have to decide if you want to spend the money or you don't. And in this case, I do feel like it is a very nice nightlight touch that I've been using all the time. So now we've made it to the upper level of the loft, and here I've got a king-size bed from Sundays, and there's storage underneath as well, whether it's a spare set of bedding, additional pillows, and this area is probably the smallest part of the space. It's about 250 square feet, and before, there was a bit of a unique layout. I think I've seen images from previous listings of the closet being on one side, the bed being tucked in the corner. In some cases, you could even have a desk up here. It's really up to how you want to be able to format it. And even during the renovation, I was kind of going back and forth on where things should go. The one thing I was sure of is that I wanted to carry the flooring all the way up here. I wanted there to be a cohesive element of it because a lot of the units that I've renovated started out with having like carpet in one area, tile in another area, and then hardwood flooring in another. And so I think continuity is very important. This right here is some slats from Ender and Willow, I believe, and it is the rounded and fluted element that just adds a bit more height. You can probably tell this is not the highest space. I mean, there is about 7 feet of clearance, and by having vertical slats, it at least gives it the effect of feeling a little bit larger, while the cloud bed and its boucle finish just has like that cozy cloud feel to it. This over here is something that I really want to do for this unit in particular. You have a whole bunch of open storage, which I know can be a little bit controversial, but Aran did a really good job in showcasing all of their wardrobes in the showroom, and so I knew exactly how I wanted to do it. And then right here is a bit of a get ready island or area, have some jewelry and stuff. I don't really spend much time here, but this is another signature that you guys have seen me do before. It is the steam closet. And so if you go out for dinner and you've just gone to like Korean barbecue or something, you don't want to wash your clothes all over again, throw it in the steam closet for a cycle, 24 or 48 minutes, and it works better than you think. And I just think it's something I'm going to have in all of the renovations moving forward. And in my opinion, one of my most underrated tech features that I saw all the time in Asia, but I rarely see anywhere in North America. As I reflect at the end of this project, I would say for the most part, it turned out beautifully. There's very little hiccups at the end of the day. It's a very straightforward layout. And after working on so many projects, and in this case, a great contractor, the process was very smooth. On top of that, it was pretty easy to make decisions just because of how good of a job KA Atelier did in picking all of the elements that should go in to make use of the space and also align with some of my design preferences as well. And when it came to tech, there is a whole wish list at all times of things that I'm so excited to check out and was able to integrate with the space in partnership with Bang & Olufsen in Vancouver. I mean, what I love so much about the Loft is that it just lets all of the light in. It lets you take advantage of every inch of vertical space that you have, zone it off, and also make something that is very cozy and beautiful. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And as always, if you enjoyed it, make sure you go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know down in the comment section below as to what you like about this project, and also if you have any suggestions at all, and I'll see you all in the next one.